I'm not even Mexican, you idiot. They called her a Mexican, you dumb idiot. Go back to Mexico. Racist. Palestinian bitch. Palestinian bitch.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Yep, a cop says go back to Mexico, put him on full mask. Hell of a thing here. A few nuances that must be discussed. This is a Detroit male Karen parading as a police officer. This police officer, who was or is a police lieutenant, says to a protester, quote, "Go back to Mexico," according to the caption. I want to bring your attention to some other things here. The officers who are with him, okay, some of them are not white officers, obviously. And they seem to smirk. I don't know if the smirk was in disgust or agreement, but I do know nobody actively challenged him to dismiss that kind of language when talking to the public. I know that. I know no one spoke up and said that's not right to say. But please understand, if he's saying that out loud in public to people he believes to be Mexican, he's telling his family and friends about black folk. It doesn't matter if they're in uniform or not. They need to go back to Africa or wherever else he deems a person needs to go. See, this is called racism. Why is it important? Because the officer is in a position of public trust, extreme public trust. They have the right to kill people based on their judgment call. And according to the US Supreme Court, if their judgment happens to be wrong, if their judgment happens to be biased, their judgment is still protected and they are immune from prosecution or civil penalty. So this is why it's important. The bias is evident. Why do we not have a full-scale investigation? Why is this not front and center in our narrative about policing in America? Why do we have to highlight these instances over and over again before something actually happens? Obviously, there's a culture here. Who would feel this comfortable as a police officer in uniform around black police officers, brown police officers, saying something like this, almost as if to say, and I dare you to say something about it. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
He probably did say that back at station, precinct. He probably did say that, okay? So either the black officers, the brown officers behind him are indoctrinated because Karenicity and racism is an illness, that it does spread, an epidemic, if you will, or they're afraid. As you've reported on before, Doc, so many times when you're in uniform, you better toe the line or you're next. They'll turn on you internally. Welcome to being a white man with no consequence in America. They stripped away all consequence. So of course he said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, and according to Trump, the biggest problem is anti-white racism in America because obviously racism against black people just evaporated, doesn't exist anymore.